I am dumb and I like dumb things. I'm sorry. Wrestling is the same, although at times it does feel like they're not in control. I think it comes down to the fact there's so much content on TV. On occasion, promoters can't contain their inner madness. A broken clock is right twice a day, though, so I am Simon Miller, and here's 10 dumb WWE stories that turned out to be genius. Sort of. Number 10, R-Truth and the 24/7 title. Remember this! No matter what you thought about the 24/7 title, it was going to happen regardless. You couldn't wish it out of existence, so thank goodness for R-Truth. He decided this championship would become his baby, and man, he hit home runs every single week when it came to goofy wrestling for life greatness. It wasn't like anyone was pretending this was serious content, and the wonderful ridiculousness actually broke up Raw, I thought. Do you remember that time Truth was on the beach and he was being chased? He still got away with the gold. It was just a nice reminder that anything can work if you give it 100%. And R-Truth, as far as I'm concerned, is a national treasure. But given I'm saying this from the UK, you can upgrade that to international. Number 9, Karma melts the Undertaker's powers. 1995 was utter wackiness in the WWF. Even workers like Bret Hart and Jean-Pierre Lafitte were feuding over a jacket, and yes, you heard that right, clothes. It was just what Vince McMahon thought was good for business, and he was totally wrong. But a few of these stories were alright. Let's talk about Karma. If you don't know, this was Charles Wright, who would go on to play Papa Shango and The Godfather, whereas here he was sort of an MMA fighter. So really, we were ahead of the game. To try and win the mind games as he started a program with The Undertaker though, Karma stole Paul Bearer's urn and he melted it. That's right. Manager Ted DiBiase justified this because he deduced that this was the source of Taker's powers, so let's just take it away. Karma was nuts too, so he used this melted gold to make a necklace that he wore around his neck. I tell you, this is pretty good. Of course, the WWF couldn't help it and sold it like the magic had now shifted hands, but hey, if I saw a movie, I'd expect that. This was actually well thought out, especially for the time. It was way better than Undertaker vs. Undertaker from the previous year. Although again, when you were a kid, that was the best thing ever. Wrestling is stupid. Number 8, Edge gets kicked out to the Judgment Day. So this one needed a little bit of hindsight, but that's okay. Sometimes a good story needs time to sell. It was weird at first because Edge had only just started the Judgment Day, recruited Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, when Finn Balor joined and the rest betrayed him. First, it felt like the whole thing had been rushed. We just had to be patient though, because soon Rhea went and corrupted Dominic Mysterio, who also turned on his dad, and it was obvious. They all had great chemistry, and also were getting more over thanks to the group. That's the whole point. We then did the same thing again when JD McDonough arrived, but that worked too, and really the entire angle has been treated fantastically well. The Judgment Day are going to be remembered as one of the best stables of modern times, and it made 2 of the members world champions. Again, this is exactly the idea. I do believe this is great stuff. Number 7, Bray Wyatt possessed other wrestlers. WWE did not know what to do with The Fiend. They also didn't know what to do with the Eater of Worlds version of Bray Wyatt, although actually, I give them a pass. I think the man behind all this was just too creative for WWE. He was something else. One idea he did get through was that he could corrupt other wrestlers' brains, which is what we saw when he turned his attentions to Alexa Bliss. Now, I will be the first to say I thought the execution was a bit off, as Alexa hung around with a doll called Lily, and it was just a bit too B-horror movie. The thing is, the core concept was awesome. Wyatt was now possessing his enemies and making him their friends. That's good eating. The fact Bray played this like he didn't want to as well but couldn't control himself was the icing on the top. And again, I just think he was too imaginative for the world he found himself in. That man was a damn hero. Number 6, Randy Orton uses IED as an excuse. I worry when WWE focuses on mentally related subjects. They can be very heavy-handed, as can wrestling in general. If something needs nuance, smash it over the head instead. So back in 2009, when Randy Orton started to say his violent behavior was due to IED, or intermittent explosive disorder, the worry was real. Actually, it worked out okay. This was when the Viper would pump people in the head because why not, and took it all the way as he wrecked Stephanie McMahon as Triple H was handcuffed to the ropes. That's screwed up. Because Randy played all this straight, however, it actually made the whole character terrifying. He sold it with his facial expressions too, and commentary was disgusted. How dare Orton act this way and try and blame it on something else? So really this was quite deep, and we didn't actually poke fun at anything. So if we did do it again, yeah, this is the template. It worked. Number 5, the Custody of Dominic. I mean, this one has become a classic. It's also totally unhinged. 2 wrestlers fighting in a ladder match for custody of a child. Forget about the legal ramifications. Why did anybody agree to this in the first place? It was pure sports entertainment though, as Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio met at SummerSlam 2005 in a ladder match because Eddie had kept telling people he was Dominic's real dad. Rey was just an imposter. Guerrero had a whole story too about the Mysterios coming to him to help them get pregnant. So for a while, we actually acted like this could be true. It was so preposterous. That was the genius, however, because not only did Eddie and Rey have a great fight, but over the years it's kind of become a niche cult classic. Ridiculous for sure, but there's an element of fun you just can't ignore. That rhymes, so it must be true. The fact Dom is now in the ring too has just made it even better. And even if you did hate it, there's a reason people smile when they talk about it today. It's a moment in time. A dumb one, that's alright. Dumb can be okay. Number 4, Aishi wants The Rock to succeed. So this did not work. There's no point pretending otherwise. After Steve Austin was run over at the 1999 Survivor Series though, we had a whodunit on our hands when we found the would-be killer was Rikishi. Oh, there was nothing wrong with sending Keish to the main event because that guy was super over, but nobody wanted to see him as a heel, and furthermore, his excuse sucked. He did it for The Rock. When The Rock arrived and said, no, you didn't, then it turned out Triple H was pulling the strings the whole time. It's just a mess. If we had just stuck to the basic story, this may have sparked something, because Rikishi's big point was WWE had 2 megastars, and yet the company kept going back to Stone Cold over the Great One. There was then some racist undertones which sort of knocked it off course again, but the idea that Austin and Rock were too big for one promotion was a good one, which just played out terribly. We even had the right plan because Rikishi was going to get his push on top of this. Let's just sum it up in a sentence. We dropped the ball for sure. Number 3, Vince McMahon's limousine explosion. Another story that was ridiculous. The hell we killing Mr. McMahon on wrestling TV? Just don't go there to begin with. That is how I felt at the time, but sure, if we take all television drama as just that, you kill people off, especially soap operas, my gosh. Nobody can survive even a season. In 2007, Vince McMahon did want to leave the show because he thought he was too old, and to stop anybody talking him back into it, he decided to blow himself up in a limo. Yeah, that'll do it. It was so well done, or people are so dumb, folk even rang up WWE HQ to make sure everything was okay. And of course, all of this was dropped due to the horrific Benoit family murders. That was the right move. The truth, however, is that if we had kept this up, it likely would have worked. Whodunits always draw people in, and this was somebody at the top of the card. Furthermore, whoever was chosen to be the guilty party could have made their career out of it. You need the machine behind you, but it's all there. It was still controversial, which I'm sure was intentional, but we have seen it work before. Although, actually, WWE would have screwed it up most probably. I mean, Exhibit A, the higher power. Number 2, Mr. McMahon's illegitimate son. And it's kind of the same for this story too. Again, what we saw on TV sucked. It was all because Mr. Kennedy was meant to be in this spot, but when he ran afoul of seemingly everybody, he was let go. So that was the end of that, but the narrative had already started. Somebody needed to be the damn son. As always, McMahon decided as they were in a crisis, comedy would sort this out, so chose Hornswoggle, simply because a leprechaun being his offspring was funny. Sure. Yeah, why not? If we go back to the original idea, however, yeah, it's slightly over the top, but I assume Kennedy was going to use this to become the world champion, and then we'd all be raving about it. We made a new star. So it really is a sliding doors moment and something WWE could revisit if they wanted to. At the same time, please know, it will likely still go off the rails. Number 1, Goldust torments Booker T. Sometimes dumb is the intent and dumb is the one. Let's go back to 2002. Goldust had decided that Booker T was the perfect new friend and tag team partner, so did everything he could to win him over. The skits between these two were ridiculous, but Dustin Rhodes was always up for anything, and Booker T understood wrestling entertainment better than anyone. That guy does not get his due. We saw it grow as well, because at first Booker couldn't stand Goldust or this nonsense, until his strong exterior was broken down, and yeah, it turned out he had a heart and a soft spot for his new buddy. That's just lovely. It also allowed the 5-time WCW champion to show off his reign, which I bet put him in Vince McMahon's good books. And when they won the tag titles, my gosh, you would think Steve Austin had just walked out on WrestleMania 17. So it helped Booker progress in WWE and had a real charm to it, because it was real, sort of. Everybody has been won over by someone who was a little overbearing at first. It's just simple storytelling. Even if they would wear wigs and recite really weird poetry, I am gonna call it good stuff. Know of any other dumb wrestling stories that actually turned out to be genius? Please leave us a comment below before you like the video, share the video, and subscribe. I shall then tell you more facts about WWE if you click the video on the screen, but otherwise, my friends, have a lovely day, and I will talk to you the next time you click a video.